It's cider time. Okay, this is my cider. It's been fermenting for about 2.5 weeks. You'll see it's actually still fermenting. It's got this little bubble right here. Now it's pretty clear. You can see through it all right. You can also see my reflection. And then down at the bottom we have this collection of yeast. Now we're going to try and avoid that when we're racking to the bottling bucket, right down here, where we're going to sort of give it a stir. We're going to add some sugary apple juice, and then we're going to put it into bottles to carbonate it. Okay, so before we bottle this crap that I've made, you want to make sure that it actually tastes decent. So I have a turkey baster here that I sanitized. It's actually a deceivingly small amount. You see it's very clear. We're actually doing all right. It's not too cloudy. It's all right. It's dry. It's like champagne-y with a little bit of apple. Good. Okay, so now we're going to start racking into the bottling bucket. This is my racking tube. I've primed it with tap water. So what we're going to do here is we are going to stick this into the carboy only about halfway down. You don't want to do all the way. And then got a pitcher here that I will be emptying the water into. And then as soon as the cider comes out, we're going to put it into the bucket. Okay? So now see how it's all yellow now? Now we're going to switch it to the bucket. Now, because it's got this very fancy system, let me move the cider away. You want to lower it down into the bottom of the bucket very slowly. Okay, perfect. So now it's resting on the yeast, but it's drawing the cider above it, so you're getting a nice clear liquid going in. Okay, so now the cider is being drawn out by the tube right there, all the way down here into the bottling bucket. That looks eerily like pee, I agree. Alright, you see how it's really draining quickly. This is a very simple process. It's all gravity driven. And yeah, that cider is slowly going into the bottling bucket where we're going to spruce it up with some apple juice before we throw it into bottles. Okay, you see here that I've propped it up. You can actually see a little bit better what's going on down in the bottom of there. It's got sort of a little filter system worked up, and I've tilted it with the phone book so that way we can get the most amount of cider out of here, and we can just leave the crappy yeast at the bottom. Yeah, this stuff looks delicious. It smells really nice. Wish you guys could smell it, but no, it's working out great so far. We're in our bottling bucket. Now we just need to give it some priming solution. For that I'm using Simply Apple, which is a premium apple juice. I've poured some off because we don't need a full bottle. Otherwise we'll have too much sugar and this stuff could get overcarbed. But what we're going to do, we're going to take that and we are going to pour it into here. We had a few chunks at the bottom which I wish did not get in there. Then I'm going to take this spoon, which I've sanitized as well. We're just going to give it a few quick turns. Okay, and we should be good. Putting the apple juice in is also going to give it a more appley flavor, as well as provide extra sugar to carbonize in the bottles, and maybe even make the cider a little bit sweeter than a dry champagne. We'll check it out. So we now have our cider all mixed up. It's ready to go into the bottles. It's got plenty of sugar in there to carb. What we're using now is this little jobby right here. And this thing at the end is a button. So when you push it down to the bottom of a bottle, it will fill the bottle, and then all you have to do is lift up and it'll stop. Hard to do this with one hand on the camera, but we'll check it out. We're going to start out with a Coke bottle. This is going to be our trial bottle so we can test it out later on the week. Alright, so all we're doing is pushing it down. Look at that, fill right up. And gotta leave some space for carbonation pressure to build up. We put the hydrometer in there. We're right about at 1.01, maybe a little bit less, and that's going to give us around 5.5% alcohol. So that's what we're looking at here. Okay, we're all through, and yeah, we got very close to 5 gallons of cider. So we're just going to wait for this to carb up over the week. We're going to use these guys right here to sort of test the progress, and then enjoyment time. It's been 2 weeks, ready to try that cider. I'm really excited. Alright, so here it is. I used one of the Grolsch bottles, the pop tops, and it's nice and frosty. I put it in the fridge, so should be pretty good. Well, let's... Ooh, that sounds really good. I think we're good here. Okay, it smells nice and appley. Still a little bit champagne-y, still a little bit dry. Well, that's really nice. Unlike my juice, this is actually drinkable. And it'll get you drunk.